This is the Golden Gate, also called the Mercy Gate. It's on the east side of Jerusalem, and as you can see, it has been sealed for a very long time. There is a place in Jerusalem where it feels like time has stopped. Most people walk by it every day without realizing what they're passing. But if you pause for a moment and listen to the silence, you might sense something. This gate has been shut for almost 500 years. It sits in the eastern wall of the old city. People call it the Eastern Gate, the Golden Gate, or the Gate of Mercy. To many, it's just old stone, but to people who study prophecy, it is sacred. That's because both Jewish and Christian traditions say the Messiah will one day enter Jerusalem through this gate in glory. Now, something strange is happening. Dust is falling, stones are shifting, and whispers are spreading. Is it just a coincidence? Or is the Gate of Mercy getting ready to open? And if it is, who or what is coming? Why was this gate sealed in the first place? To understand, we need to go back in time. In the early 1500s, the Ottoman Empire controlled Jerusalem. It was a time of power and big plans, and Sultan Suleiman, known as the Magnificent, rebuilt the city walls. But one decision stands out. He ordered the Eastern Gate to be sealed shut. No one knows exactly why. There is no record explaining his reasons. But the timing and the traditions of Jerusalem suggest a deeper reason. At that time, many people in Jerusalem were talking about prophecy. They believed the Messiah would come from the east and enter Jerusalem through this very gate. So Suleiman sealed it. To make sure it stayed closed, he also placed a Muslim cemetery in front of it. This move seems intentional. According to Jewish law, priests or Kohanim cannot enter cemeteries without becoming spiritually unclean. If the Messiah was expected to be a priestly figure, this cemetery would block his way spiritually. It's a sobering thought. A gate meant for the return of God's chosen one, intentionally closed, a wall raised against a promise. History shows that no one can stop God's plan. Pharaoh tried, Babylon tried, Rome tried, but prophecy kept moving forward, quietly and surely. The Bible talks about a gate in Jerusalem. The prophet Ezekiel, while in Babylon, saw God's glory coming from the east, through what he called the East Gate, Ezekiel 43. Earlier, Ezekiel saw God's glory leaving through the east, Ezekiel 10. It was a pattern of God's presence, then distance. Hundreds of years later, Jesus went to Jerusalem before Passover. Crowds cheered as he rode a donkey, fulfilling Zechariah's prophecy, "Your king is coming, humble and riding on a donkey," Zechariah 9:9. He entered Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives, across the Kidron Valley, and through the Eastern Gate. It wasn't a loud takeover, but the quiet entry of the Messiah into his city. But that wasn't the end. Acts 1 says Jesus ascended from the Mount of Olives, and Zechariah 14 says he will return there, facing east. The pattern continues. The gate waits. The prophecy waits. For 2,000 years, it has been building towards something. Today, the Eastern Gate is sealed with stone, unmoving, while Jerusalem remains alive and busy. Prayers fill the Western Wall, the Dome of the Rock shines, and markets overflow. But near the Eastern Gate, also called the Gate of Mercy, there is a strange silence. Recently, quiet reports have spread. Some tour guides talk about dust slipping through cracks, stones shifting, or strange noises coming from the gate. Engineers have noticed slight changes. Some call it erosion or old age, but others feel it is a whisper, a sign that something is stirring. Sometimes God's voice is like a whisper, a quiet stirring. In Matthew 24, Jesus talks about signs, wars, rumors, earthquakes, and voices calling out. He says, "Watch, because you don't know the hour, The Bible confirms there's a deeper reality we can't see. Hebrews 11:3 says God made the world out of what is unseen. Everything we see came from what we cannot see. This changes how we see the world. What we see is just the surface, a reflection of a greater reality. When we look at the Eastern Gate, it's not just old stones. It's a doorway between the natural and the divine. God rarely shouts. He moves in quiet ways that change eternity. A whisper to Elijah, a baby in a manger, a king on a donkey. These are not accidents, they are God's patterns. His kingdom starts small, like a seed, and grows quietly. So if we see dust falling or hear strange sounds at the Eastern Gate, we shouldn't ignore it. Maybe it's the kind of sign God gives, a quiet sign, not a loud one. The Mount of Olives, across from the gate, is deeply connected to this story. It's not just a hill, it's a spiritual place. In Ezekiel's vision, God's glory leaves the temple and rests on the Mount of Olives. But later, God's glory returns through the Eastern Gate, Ezekiel 43. It's a pattern of leaving and returning, of grief and restoration. Centuries later, Jesus follows this pattern. He crosses the Mount of Olives and enters Jerusalem through the Eastern Gate on Palm Sunday as people shout, "Hosanna." God's glory enters again, but Jesus does not stay. After his resurrection, he returns to the Mount of Olives and ascends to heaven. The angels tell the disciples he will return the same way. Acts 1. This is the promise. Jesus will return, just as he left, fulfilling the pattern and prophecy tied to the Eastern Gate and the Mount of Olives. The prophet Zechariah says clearly, on that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives. This isn't just a symbol. It's a real place, and it's a sign from heaven. Throughout history, there have always been watchers, people who sense the world is moving towards something bigger. Many watchers visit Jerusalem's Eastern Gate today: pastors, scholars, pilgrims, and quiet believers. They all report strange things: a low hum underground, dust falling for no reason, soft groans behind the wall. It sounds like something out of a story, but it matches the Bible's call for watchmen on the wall. Isaiah 62:6. Jerusalem isn't just an old city. It's the heartbeat of prophecy, mentioned over 800 times in the Bible. Psalm 122 tells us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. It's where Solomon's temple stood, prophets spoke, and Jesus wept for its peace. Luke 19:42. The world rushes on, but Jerusalem stands steady. Could we be near another divine moment? If Jerusalem was central to Jesus' first coming, could it also be key to his return? In Matthew 24, Jesus talks about the fig tree, a symbol many believe represents Israel. When its branches grow tender, you know summer is near. Just like that, when we see these signs, his return is near, even at the door. Could that door be the Eastern Gate? Since Israel became a nation again in 1948, the signs have multiplied. Earthquakes, wars, spiritual awakenings, many leaving the faith, global unrest. But now, a quiet sign stirs. A gate sealed for 500 years shows cracks, tiny shifts, dust falling. Is this just decay, or God's plan unfolding? This gate may not open with lightning, but it will shake the spiritual world. It isn't just a passage, it's a message. And when it opens, it won't just reveal a path, it will announce a king. Prophecy has waited for this moment when God's timing meets human history. Will you be ready? The signs are quiet, but they're adding up. The world is sleeping, but the gate is stirring. Heaven is watching. Are you? If this stirs your heart, don't scroll past. Stay awake, stay watchful. The King is coming soon. Like, share, and subscribe if you believe this sign is worth watching. This isn't just ancient history. This may be happening now, and it may be just beginning.